You're listening to the RBTZTV Radio Network. I'm John Casson. If you watch the news in the past few weeks, just about every single night, the lead story is the fires on the West Coast. You see them. There's a reporter out there. They're usually in the middle of the flames. The firefighters are out there. They're doing the best they can. The people are there. And you get a sense of the fire. You may even get a sense of the smoke. But you don't really get a sense of the people and what the people are going through. Today on our RBTZTV Radio Network, we're going to talk to somebody. Yesterday, she sent me a text of her home and her farm and her employer, which is the farm. And the smoke was getting close, and she had to evacuate. And she wasn't sure what she was going to do or where she was going to go. And by the end of the night, the fire had reached that place. She was gone with her boyfriend and her cat. The fire consumed the farm and basically disrupted your life, her life. In full disclosure, this person is Marilyn Neville, and she's my middle daughter. You might think the three most important things that always affect anybody's life is the person they're with, the job they have, and the place they live. Well, Marilyn just lost two of those three things, and she's not alone. In fact, thousands of people have been displaced in the past few weeks. Some of them permanently, some of them temporarily, but all of them have that little bit of paralysis and fear. What am I going to do? And how am I going to do it? So this morning when Marilyn called me, I kind of expected that with her, but something unexpected happened. Marilyn saw opportunity in the adversity that took place, and she's not alone. Turns out the fire, as devastating as it was, may actually be a plus for her and a plus for people in the community. And we can certainly focus on the hardships, and we won't be minimizing those too much, but I want to focus on opportunity out there as well. Marilyn's on the line right now joining us. Marilyn, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Listen to how cheery you sound.
Yeah, I'm waking up. I haven't had coffee yet, but I'm trying to make the best of it.
Why don't you tell us first of all, tell us, where you live specifically and when you were aware that the fire, was approaching and what you did about it, and kind of the same story you shared with me last night.
Yeah, well, I live in Juniper Flats, Oregon, which is just outside Maupin, Oregon. We're a little unincorporated out there. We're high desert, middle of nowhere, 45 minutes away from a grocery store, pretty remote. I woke up like any other day, and I had a worker with me. We were going out there to go trim up some of our work for the day, and my boyfriend walks in about an hour after me working, and it's like, hey, there's a giant smoke plume just at Pine Grove, which is 7 miles from our house. It's the closest little town to us. And he said, you should probably go get a go bag going. And told my worker to go get his stuff, put it in the car. We went back out there to, kind of get things going again. And we got evacuated. I was just paralyzed in fear. This wasn't the first time that Jacob's dealt with fire. He's been out there for quite a while, but this was my first time. So I was a bit paralyzed in fear, and had to get my cat, get her carrier. I was able to get her litter box and just a small suitcase of clothes, my important papers, and my medications. And I left. I drove 3 hours to a friend's house while my boyfriend was getting the rest of the stuff out. A person that works for the electric company came out there and was like, what are you doing? You need to get off this property. And he grabbed what he could and he left. He later on got a phone call from the cattle ranchers who leased some of the property from the owner, and said that he was trying to save our house because there were people working, but there weren't enough people.
Wow.
So Jacob went back down there and was watering things and making sure that the house was going to stay, because if anything, we'd have a place to live. But what happened was we had a lab where we did business that got completely demolished and leveled to the ground, a greenhouse that we were just about to pull down product out of, which would have been all of my work for the next month, got ruined, and basically my work got completely ruined out there. The house, everything is ruined by smoke. There's nothing that is salvageable. All of our furniture, all of our musical equipment, all of everything that I own, except for what I brought with me, is completely ruined by smoke because it was right up on us.
Wow.
But that was my day yesterday.
The irony is the safe town that
Yeah.
you're in that's nearby, I believe you said it was called Woodburn.
Yes, I am staying in Woodburn, which is a little funny if you can laugh at the situation I'm in a little bit. I mean, we got to find humor somewhere in it, right?
But you and Jacob and your kitty are all fine. Is that right?
Yeah, we're all fine. Yeah, the boyfriend is a little closer to the farm because he's going to have to keep going in there and getting stuff out. And I just got as far away as possible in the safest place possible for me and the cat.
When I talked to you this morning, you said you had a little bit of a feeling of shock, a little bit of feeling of, oh my God. And I was worried about you. And I said, well, do you want to come home? And you said, no. And I said, what do you want to do? And then you told me some ideas you had. Would you mind sharing those with us?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been trying to get out of my industry, and it has turned into a minimum wage job. And I want to, I was saving up money, living in that house rent free to go back to school. I have seen people fall to addiction in my life. And also, I grew up with physical disabilities. I want to go back to school and I want to become an addiction counselor to actually make a difference in this world. And then also go and help out with children with physical disabilities, because growing up, I had lots of physical disabilities. I ended up having back surgery at 15 years old due to scoliosis. And I want to help people who are going through what I've been through. And I see this as an opportunity for me to focus on my school and continue that and continue my future path forward, because I feel that's where I'm going to be needed.
I feel like so many people can resonate with your message. It is a devastating loss, but it's also a clean start. The irony is we were supposed to have a guest today that you're replacing, and that guest was rBeatz. And when we went from a guy named rBeatz to what seems like literal hell out there with the fires and the devastation, and you went ahead and turned that around. And I wonder if other people have that same kind of courage and commitment and concentration that you do. And it's very impressive that you did. And are you going to go back to the same location where you lived, or are you going to move somewhere different, you think?
We have to move. The house is, it was an old farmhouse. Mm-hmm. So it was already kind of, a lot of things that needed to be fixed about it that we probably weren't going to. So, it's probably not livable right now. So we are going to have to find another place to live. And, Jacob is going to have to find a new work, and I'm going to have to find new work. So that's starting from square one again.
Are there some community resources out there that you can reach out to that you're aware of?
Absolutely. I've got a good community in my industry here, and I have a good community within the music community here. People have been reaching out to me since I posted about it yesterday, all day and night, and reaching out, asking what they can do, how they can help. And it's been very heartwarming to know that I am not alone. Because that's the biggest thing through all this. You feel like you're alone in this situation because you are like literally going through hell. Like yesterday was hell for me. And I've had a bunch of people reaching out, which is great. And I'm just trying to, take it day by day right now, because that's all I really can do.
If there's people listening right now that have been through something very similar to you, what kind of advice would you give them?
And just make sure you remember to grab your important papers, your medications, and whatever you find close to you that is not replaceable, because that's one thing Jacob made sure he did. He had his ashes of his father that he had to make sure he grabbed. And if I wouldn't have reminded him, he wouldn't have grabbed those. So just make sure you grab those things, and know, like, there are people out there that have gone through this before. So reach out to people who have gone through it to kind of help, because not only are you going through, you know, a devastating loss financially, and, you know, you're, you know, it's like, I'm losing a house and everything. Mental and emotional is huge. So reach out to the people. You are not alone. And like, that's the worst feeling.
It sure is. Marilyn, you're in the Hearts and Thoughts, and I want to thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, John. I love you.
I love you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.